If you are coming to Brazil, it is highly likely that you will be visiting the biggest city in the country, Sao Paulo. But is Sao Paulo a safe city for tourists and foreigners to visit? Obviously, because Sao Paulo is a massive city, there are safety tips that you do need to bear in mind when you come here. So in this video, I will give you 3 key safety tips that you need to be aware of for Sao Paulo. Now, for me personally, I spent a few weeks in Sao Paulo and I was not robbed, nor kidnapped, nor unalived. And to be honest, I did not feel at any stage of my time in Sao Paulo that any of those things were going to happen. From my perspective, walking around most of the touristy parts of Sao Paulo felt no different in terms of my safety to the safety that I would feel in London or Paris or New York. So if you feel fine to walk around cities like London and Barcelona, you're going to feel fine walking around the touristic parts of Sao Paulo, no problem. As a tourist in Sao Paulo, there are probably 6 neighborhoods or maybe 7 neighborhoods that as a tourist you will be checking out. And one of those neighborhoods is the center of the city, central Sao Paulo, or Sa as it's called. And in fact, my first safety tip for Sao Paulo is just to be careful in this area, central Sao Paulo. It can feel a little bit dodgy at times, this part of town. You will see quite a lot of homeless people. You may even hear a couple of junkies shouting and screaming along the way too. Central Sao Paulo is just not the most comfortable place to be. It is quite sad seeing the extent to which the homelessness is an issue there. To give you a comparison, the homelessness in central Sao Paulo is worse than that in central London. You're going to see lots of litter, you're going to see lots of old, rundown, unmaintained buildings. So therefore, I would not recommend booking a hotel or an Airbnb here just because I don't think you're going to like it. But unfortunately, as a tourist, you probably are going to come here to central Sao Paulo because some of the best tourist attractions in the city are here. You've got the Mercado Municipal here, that's where you get the famous mortadella sandwich. You can see the Municipal Theatre, and you can go to the top of the Farol Santander, which is the big Santander building. You see this building on all of the postcards of Sao Paulo. And you do have the Sé Cathedral as well, so you can come and spend a day here and check out all of the tourist sites. I just would not recommend staying here for accommodation. And when you are walking around this part of town, just don't wear any jewelry or any watches or anything expensive. Don't draw any attention to you. Just be vigilant, have your head screwed on. And if you do feel uncomfortable to walk around this part of town, you can always call Uber to get an Uber between the different tourist sites. Now, I did mention earlier on in the video that there are probably 5 or 6 other neighborhoods in Sao Paulo that you probably will be visiting, and all of these neighborhoods I would say are definitely safer than central downtown Sao Paulo. Firstly, you have the Avenida Paulista area. This is quite a good place to stay if you're in Sao Paulo for a short time, because staying here means you're quite near the Museum of Football. It means you're near the MASP Museum, or the MASP Museum as the locals would call it. You're near lots of shops, lots of cafes, lots of restaurants. You're near lots of bars on the Rua Augusta Street. You're also not too far away from the Ibirapuera Park as well, which comparing to New York City is kind of like the Central Park of Sao Paulo. Staying near Avenida Paulista or walking down the Avenida Paulista is really safe. There is a really big police presence there. Do take a little bit more care at night, but during the daytime it's perfectly fine. Now, another part of town that you definitely are going to be visiting as a tourist is the Liberdade Japantown district. This is a really vibrant part of town during the daytime. Probably the most vibrant and cosmopolitan part of the city during the daytime. You're going to find lots of Japanese shops, restaurants, other Asian restaurants. You will feel pretty safe here during the daytime because there are lots of tourists, lots of people taking photos. But I have heard that at night time it does get deserted and it does get a bit more sketchier. So maybe this is not the best place to stay, and it is quite near Sé as well. And as I said before, don't stay in central Sao Paulo, Sé. 2 other neighborhoods which kind of group into one big neighborhood are the Pinheiros neighborhood and the Vila Madalena neighborhood. This is actually where I stayed. This is quite a hip part of town. You've got a lot of coffee shops, a lot of restaurants here. This is where you'll find the famous Becco de Batman graffiti murals. In terms of safety, I walked around this part of town during the day and the night time, even with my phone out at times, and I felt pretty safe to do so. And also, if you stay here, you're near the Rua Aspicuelta, which is a very famous bar street. but if you do want a good night's sleep, do not stay literally on Rua Aspicuelta. You're not going to sleep. Now, if you are looking for something a bit more upmarket and you like to do some bougie shopping, a part of town that you will want to check out is the Oscar Freire part of the city. This street, Rua Oscar Freire, is full of designer shops, jewelry shops, coffee shops. It's just a really pleasant part of the city to spend time in or perhaps stay in. And there is one more neighborhood that you may potentially be going to, especially if you are on a business trip. The Faria Lima district of the city is where you find many of the banks and the tech firms. If you are here for business, it makes sense just to stay in this part of the city, and it is very safe around here too. Now let's move on to talk about my second safety tip for when you come to visit Sao Paulo. And this safety tip is regarding Ubers. Now, when you land into Sao Paulo by air, either at the international Guarulhos airport or the domestic Congonhas airport, once you pick up your baggage and you go to arrivals ready to call an Uber, what may happen is a guy may come up to you, or multiple guys may come up to you saying Uber, Uber, Uber. Essentially, they're trying to pretend that they are Uber drivers. They may even show you their car with a big Uber sticker on the car. The safety tip is do not get into a random person's car, even if they say they are an Uber driver, because if you need to call an Uber, what you have to do is you have to go onto the Uber application on your phone, and that's where you call an Uber to pick you up. I did also experience this when I went to the Mercado Municipal. As I was leaving the Mercado Municipal, a couple of guys did come up to me saying Uber, Uber, Uber. So this is something that can happen outside of the major tourist sites in Sao Paulo, and this is something that could happen at the main Tietê bus terminal too if you are coming here to Sao Paulo by bus from another city in Brazil. It goes without saying, obviously you don't want to get into a random person's car, even if they seem trustworthy. You just don't want to do that anywhere in the world. But now let's talk about my third and final safety tip for when you come to visit Sao Paulo. Now, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, in the touristy neighborhoods of the city, it is quite okay to have your phone out and to take pictures or to be texting whilst you're walking down the street. Maybe not downtown central Sao Paulo, as we said before, but the other neighborhoods, it's quite common for people to have their phone out walking down the street. But what I will say is this: if you are going to have your phone out, make sure you hold your phone very tightly, and if you are standing on the edge of a sidewalk or a pavement, do not hang your phone out in the air, because phone snatching is quite common in Sao Paulo. You've probably seen those videos in London and Paris where a guy is walking down the street with his phone and then a bike comes up behind him and just pulls his phone away. Yeah, that thing can happen here in Sao Paulo, although I never saw that happen myself, but locals will tell you that that does happen in Sao Paulo, so just hold your phone tight in public. Locals will also tell you that if you need to call an Uber, just go inside a nearby shop or a nearby bank or a nearby building. Go inside there and call your Uber on your phone inside a building instead of outside on the sidewalk. Now, to be honest, I have not always followed that rule. Many times I have stood outside on the sidewalk calling an Uber, waiting for my Uber outside, but to be safe, you really shouldn't do that. Now, I am curious to know if you watching this video now have previously visited Sao Paulo yourself. Did you feel safe walking around the city? Did you feel in any danger at any stage of your trip? Did you witness any robbery or something like that happen? And also, if you are a local to Sao Paulo or if you know the city very well, do comment below any safety tips that you personally have for tourists coming here. That will help out other viewers of this video who are planning trips here sometime soon. Right now, make sure that you hit the like button if you have found today's video useful and interesting. It does help out the video. It promotes the video on the algorithm and it gives other travelers coming to Sao Paulo a chance to see this video. Also, make sure that you hit the notification bell below this video so that you don't miss out on my future videos, and make sure also that you subscribe to the channel for more travel videos. So thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in my next video.